Okay, so is this working now? Awesome. Yay! I was saying that I'm trying the new live control room that they are implementing, that by they I mean YouTube is implementing soon. And it's different, so you sort of have to relearn everything. And yeah, the start stream whatever button is like hidden in a corner somewhere. Instead of making it like big and obvious, because that's the whole point of streaming, they chuck it top right. And my window was like resized and I couldn't see it, and it's dumb. But now it works, so yay! Hi everyone! Hi Toaster Strudel and Marmalade Underground and Dan and Amisha and Buxa Paint and Sun and Belinda, Heather and Cyan and Holy. Yay! Yay! If you hear weird noises, it's because I have a coffee candy, because I'm tired today. So coffee. Hey, SG Leinert. Otto! Oh my gosh, hi! Hi, Patricia. Hi, Zasha. Do you all have your drink of choice? Like tea, coffee, water, juice? It's really hard. Oh yeah, I gotta mention that. Apparently, it would be really important to be careful about using emojis in the chat. Apparently, from what I understand, YouTube is trying to have an automated system that prevents spamming, but it doesn't work at the moment. And if you use emojis in live streams, if you use too much of them, it's gonna ban your Google account. Yeah. And it's really, really complex to appeal it and get it back. Lemonade, oh wow. Potato chowder. First cool day there, oh my gosh. I think it's problematic if you use many of them. Like if you forget about one or two, you should be fine. Oh, I forgot to mute one of the videos. Hold on. Okay. Good. Emojis are such a good way to convey an emotion or a feeling that text alone won't be able to convey, especially online. Hey, the pen, yeah. I have this one here with my travel mini sketchbook. And I always keep the orange ones in my bin of pencils when I do like charts and I prepare swatching stuff for videos. I use those to draw them because this ink is waterproof. I also keep the refills over here. Hi Lee! I really shouldn't have taken this candy before the stream. It's really hard to talk around it. How cold is it today? It's quite cold. This morning it was about -10 Celsius. I'll take all the orange pens you don't like, Otto. And man, I love those. They are like neon orange, not just like good old orange. These are like so bright. It's perfect. These are the Big Click pens. And I had never seen those here before. Otto sort of mentioned them to me and I was like, huh? And they are awesome because you can refill them and they are clicky pens and... Hold on. This is important stuff. That's the cats right now. We did wash their blankets. So they are like, oh, awesome, fresh new blankets. Yeah, it's only gonna get worse weather-wise. There's also snow. Snow. Used to be that we wouldn't get snow until Christmas. Like December 21st would be the first snow and everybody would breathe a sigh of relief because that would mean that we would have a white Christmas. But last year and this year apparently, like winter starts really early, like in November. Heather, who is holding you hostage? Is it Cuz and Bruiser? So yeah, I've been doodling with this big pen only and I really like it. I don't really like gel pens for doodling because you don't get a chance to draw really light, which is something you can do with regular ballpoint pen because I think the ink is oil-based. Hey, on horseback. My aunt from Canada had snow in September. Ugh. That's really early for snow. Where is she at in Canada? Oh, it's Havoc. Yeah. She really has a good name. I really, like, note to self, candy before stream is a terrible idea. It is helping me wake up though. Hey Stephen, hi. It is just above freezing. Well, here in Montreal it is a bit below freezing. Oh no, box of paint. You need to get boots for your doggos. Patricia says, I always have my snow tires put on November 9th but this year I was trying to outrun snow squall warnings to get it done. Eek. So Belinda says that the oil. It's gonna be one of those days. The ink is oil-based. That makes it good for watercolor washes, but I've heard it can degrade non-acid fast paper over time. Huh. I was talking about like the weather in different areas of the world with Mr. E. And we were talking about Scotland and England and how like England has a lot of rain, and I was like, it's a bit like how we have a lot of snow here. And I'm like, I don't really mind it all that much, because if you know a place has certain weather types that are really frequent, you can gear up for that. Like if you know it rains often, you can get a good umbrella, a good raincoat, rubber boots like Wellingtons, and if need be, like waterproof cover-up pants. Like you can figure out something to deal with the rain. Like same here, if we know we have snow, well, we have snow boots, we have coats, hats, mitts, pants, you know, all this stuff. Just like you get short and t-shirts for summer. So we're like, if I were to move, say, to England where it rains a bit more, well, I would invest in full-on waterproof gear. And then you go outside anyway, and you're like, that's fine, I'm dressed up for the weather. Oh, so she's from Calgary. Ouch. I can't talk today. Snow in September in Calgary. Yikes. Heather says, I'm in Mississippi, and we are supposed to get sleet and possible snow. Snow! I'm less than 200 miles from the Gulf of Mexico, what the heck? Hey Joy, hi. Yeah, that's the thing, like if someone like Heather gets snow, it doesn't matter if it's just a tiny bit of snow. The problem is that no one knows how to deal with it. If it turns to ice, no car have winter tires. The towns are not equipped to clear the ice and snow from the streets. Dan doesn't prepare for the weather. Well, you can't complain it's raining and that you get wet if you don't go out with a raincoat and an umbrella. And boots. Must be a young person thing. Or it must be an old person thing to be tired of having wet feet and... I saw that, Heather. I saw that. That depends, with the oil base have a smell. Not quite. I smell the leather from this cover more than I smell the ink. No, it doesn't really have a smell. In Winnipeg, they had to call in the army for an October ice storm. Yikes. I'm sorry, it makes me laugh to see, like, because it's true, but to see all the situation, all the places where a tiny bit of snow is like really problematic, like everything has to close down. because this is so not the case for Quebec and Canada in general. And I've been living here like forever, so I'm like, well, if it snows, you put like salt or sand on the ice, and the city has snow plows and everybody has shovels, and it's just part of everything. And it's just really funny for me to I understand it, but it's a really weird image to see like a tiny bit like a snowflake fall and everything is like panicking. It rains, but only in the seasons where it doesn't turn to snow. Atto says, oh gosh, I know what you mean. I went out yesterday, they were clearing the leaves on my street. I came back 3 hours later and they were still clearing it. What are they using to clear out the leaves? Over here they use like these sort of vacuum trucks that have like a rotating brush, and it goes really slow and it makes a lot of noise, and it sort of drives along the sidewalk and picks up everything. Yeah, that's it. Lee says, I think in southern Ontario, Montreal, it's more that we get snow instead of rain for half the year. Yeah. Oh, I can't. I really don't want to think about the coming 6 months of winter. It's fun until Christmas, but then after Christmas, it's like, yeah, this is a bit like redundant. It's a bit like the same that happens. I'm just doing whatever to warm up because I don't really know what I'm gonna draw yet. Two of those brush trucks plus a van plus 4 people with broomsticks. Whoa. Is there like an inhuman amount of leaves to clear? Is that the case? Oh, I love this. On Horseback says, when my dad had his driver's exam like 30 years ago, it snowed. He only drove slow and didn't have to do anything because of the snow. He passed. That's kind of funny. Draw weather cats. Winter has arrived when all the floor vents are blocked by 1 or 2 cats. Yep. It's really funny because in the summer, my cats, they like to flop on the tiling. Like the floor is tiles, so they flop. And as soon as it gets colder, you don't see them do that anymore. They try to find like something to stand on, like or sit on. And if there's a bit of a paper on the ground or anything like a cushion from one of their beds, they will sit on that rather than on the cold floor. By the way, it's a single lane. Oh, whoa. Oh my gosh. So basically, Otto, the whole street was blocked until they could remove all the leaves. Yeah, sitting on people is also a good option. People are warm too. Winter is the only time when we occasionally get Pico to come sleep in the bed with us. She really doesn't want to. She has her own agenda, she has her cat things to do. But when it gets super cold, that's when we sometimes see her in the bedroom with us. Oh yeah, the number of angry people muttering to themselves behind their trunks. Oh no! Oh, that's so cute, Cyan. Cyan says Bun Bun does that too, probably meaning flopping on the tile floor. Cyan says, I don't have tile floor, so I got him 2 tiles as bed. I got them from the hardware store, and when I told what they were for, I got 2 sample tiles for free. That's so nice. Oh, did I say mom instead of Max? Whatever. Not well. Never mind. I'm just a bit confused. This is good tea. Okay. I'm trying to think about the weather cats because I've done quite a few of like cats in weather situations before. Oh, okay, that humans were warm, except your mom. And I've been trying to think of something to draw for all morning, so it's not like I don't give this a try. I was really trying to figure out something to draw, but oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Faces and cats. That's basically my sketchbook. I really want to get better at drawing like humanoids type people type stuff. Like I really like D&D, and I like not necessarily just D&D, but everything that lets you create a character is always something that I've enjoyed a lot, because you can create your character and then you get to draw the character and sort of shape the character and make it happen, and that's always something I've enjoyed doing. But it's also really difficult to draw humans, so I'm trying to get better at that. Not there yet, definitely, but I'm working on it. Hey, Jill. Hi. Oh, that's really awesome. Belinda says that she has played D&D for 40 years this year. Played Chiang Mai. That's really weird trying to read that. Vane asks, are the Daniel Smith watercolor gonna be on sale on Black Friday? What are your thoughts? What was like last year's Black Friday sale? Well, I'm in Canada, so it's not quite as much of a catastrophe as it can be elsewhere. I'm trying to remember, like, usually for Black Friday I check Jackson's mainly, but from experience, a lot of the sales on Black Friday are on the, like, not everything, first of all, and then they are often on store brand items. Oh, Belinda, good catch. Got a bunch of Daniel Smith for $7.20 per tube. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Discontinued colors too. Oh, wow. Also silver black velvet brush. I don't know exactly for the silver black. Oftentimes Jackson's has sales on brushes. I don't know if the silver black velvet brushes are included in that sale, but they sometimes have sales on like all brushes. Advanced D&D here, but we used a lot of the chainmail. Oh my gosh, that's really chainmail. That's a brain twister. Hey, Mikey! Hi! Oh, really? Cyan says that the Jackson's shipping has become terribly expensive to Finland, which is sort of weird because everything ships from, oftentimes Jackson's doesn't ship from the UK. I don't remember where it ships from though. I'm from Bulgaria, so there's nothing good around here, just some overpriced schminke half pans. You do not get anything from the Renaissance or Roman schmal, I don't know how to say that, but like polish paints? Possibly? Oh, Sweden, yeah. That's it. Mine too. What is it with Jackson's shipping from Malmo, Sweden? That's a really good question. Yeah, that's what I thought, Cyan. I was like, they ship from quite close to you, so why has it gotten expensive? Though, I mean, we are neighbors to the US, and it's an arm and a leg to send stuff over there, so... Sorry. Chainmail cake? What? Cake. We talked a lot about cake during the last live stream. I don't mind going back to talking about cake. Renaissance, yes, but the shipping is like 25 from German sites and like 30-ish from Poland in Polish zloty. I don't know how much that is. But I mean, the Renaissance paints are really quite good, so if you have access to those, that's definitely a good option. They are really, really nice paints. Oh yeah, it's pretty wet. It's pretty humid too. Blech. Oh wait, I think I have a piece of leftover purchase paper around here. I'm gonna be doodling spellcasting cats that are having a bit of a problem. I want to try Daniel Smith though, and really the black velvets, they're really hyped. If you like soft brushes, the black velvet are for you. Did I say red velvet? That's the cake talk. Hey Malvina, hi. Oh no, Misha, that sounds really bad. I get to have the very deep snow in winter and summer days where just walking outside means a sweat bath. Bleh. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, that's true. SG Leonard says Jackson's is not carrying Roman small paints. I can't say that. I'm really sorry. I put a few of the more unusual colors in my basket. If you are a watercolorist and like new stuff, check out these colors on Jackson's. It's a pretty impressive range, and it's all made by this one guy, Roman. That's the name of the paint is the name of the guy that makes them, and the colors are really, really lovely. I have a Da Vinci Casaneo map inside the... Oh, the Casaneo range is really awesome. It's one of my favorite because they tend to keep a point really nicely. Though nothing keeps a point forever, so... Lost even ads. Oh no, I'm sorry. Though, at the same time, I appreciate if you guys keep the ads playing. I have started advising people against going to Kyoto. Yes, it's old and traditional, but it's so full of tourists now that it's a horrible experience. Oh no! Huh. Montreal is beautiful. That's interesting. I don't find it all that pretty. I think that Quebec City is more pretty. Prettier? More pretty, what am I? Two? Yeah, the heat is not great, and it's been getting worse, that's the thing. No, the weather is not any better in Quebec City, but I find it prettier than Montreal. I find that Montreal is a bit out of balance as a tourist location because it's trying to find the words to express what I mean. I personally don't think it has any charm. It's either obviously touristy or definitely not, and I don't find personally that it has a good balance of like stuff that you can just enjoy Montreal for what it is. Like, I don't think Montreal is much of anything except either a place where people live and work or something with tourist attractions. But that's just me. You sound like you really enjoy living there. Sorry. That's that. Maybe I was more excited about it like when I first came here. There are a lot of nice things about Montreal, like the fact that it's so culturally diverse means that you sort of have a lot more enrichment to the community that comes from that, whether it's like events, restaurants, stores, like there's a lot that comes from that, but I just don't find it very charming, I guess. I don't know, it's weird to say. Hey Val, hi. I guess it depends what you're comparing to. I grew up in Toronto and now live in Kitchener. I grew up in Quebec City. I might have a frozen stream. No, I'm drinking tea. I hope that's just that. Sorry. I've been to Toronto twice. And it definitely has the same kind of energy that I think Montreal has. It's really interesting when you don't go often, or when you are there for the beginning of your stay there. Like when you discover everything, like the neat stuff that's over there, that's the part that's interesting. But after a while, this stuff is, well, for Montreal, like this stuff doesn't have enough of an appeal. I find it difficult. Kitchener by comparison feels like amateur hour culturally. Oh no. Montreal is very culturally diverse. You even have like, I don't know what it would translate to. Hold on, I'm trying to find the word. But what I mean is that there are some specific areas that are more concentrated around a certain culture. Like you have sort of the Italian neighborhood, you have this other neighborhood, like everything. And that can be really interesting, because if you go there, you sort of experience well, if I go there, I mean, the only possibly interesting thing about going there is either restaurants or stores, which is kind of what gets old fast. But say you want to cook Italian food, you're better off going into a grocery in the Italian neighborhood, and you're gonna find like the stuff that Italian people have made an effort to import here, so it's possibly gonna be more interesting. Like I think it's the kind of town that is interesting for like people who are really into food, or I don't know what else. What else is there? But I would love to see Vancouver too. I'm French Canadian. I speak French first and English second. Is it frozen? I hope it's not. I think Vancouver is quite a really nice place to live too, from what I've seen of it, of course. But I've also heard that it's super duper expensive, so ugh. Hey, bonjour Sylvie. Oh, am I frozen? I hope it's not. I really want to visit Quebec City. Hey, Freya! Quebec City, personally, I think is really lovely, especially if you want to go there as a tourist. I personally think that the lower part of the old city of Quebec and the higher part of the old Quebec, the lower part is my favorite personally, because it's all the very old buildings, and it's very touristy. Like it's a lot of shop for tourists, but you also can walk around some areas that feel a bit more just like people live there. Okay, so I'm not frozen. Okay, whew. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm very still when I read chats. I should keep moving. Mon français, c'est très bad. That's okay. I grew up in Quebec City, and I used to go to the old city a lot, and I never really got tired of it. But like going through Well, of course, I haven't lived in Quebec City for a really long time, so perhaps that has changed. But like Montreal, I've worked in the what is considered the old town part area bit of Montreal, and it kind of gets old fast because I'm trying to. It's really, I don't know. It might just be my perception, but yeah, I struggle a lot more with Montreal as a city for some reason. The old buildings are really lovely in Quebec City. Honestly, especially the lower town, that's my favorite part. The higher level of the old town, the old Quebec City, is possibly a bit too much like Montreal. It has that same kind of super tourist energy that you don't necessarily have when you go down to the older city. I think it's a bit more rushed. The old quarter gets so fast. Do you think you struggle with the bigger cities? It's possible that I'm at a point where I struggle with bigger cities. But I think it's a part of what my issue is that I don't find it inspiring. Like when I see Otto sharing pictures of Edinburgh and Scotland and all of that, I'm like, is it possible to not be inspired by this? While over here, when I'm looking, even if it's the old building in Quebec are relatively old, I just feel rushed. Like it doesn't feel like it's something where you can just have a walk and enjoy the space, because it's like a really small portion of the city that's like that, and it's super super duper touristy because everything else is more recent, so it's not quite the same. And everything that's more recent, personally, I don't find as inspiring. I don't feel like it tells a story as much as the older stuff. So I'm rambling, right? All that to say that it's possible that it's a big city thing, but I think it's also like the speed of the city that's possibly getting to me. My French in high school was absolutely terrible. We didn't learn from a book, but with sign. Le was one finger up, that sort of thing. Ugh. Ah, that's weird. Ah, ben, je suis contente, Sylvie. C'est sûr que c'est difficile de faire des vidéos juste en français, mais si tu laisses des commentaires en français, je peux y répondre en français, c'est pas un problème. Yes, but Edinburgh is inspiring everywhere. See, that's what I'm saying. It is beautiful. Come paint in New Brunswick. Oh, I would love to. That looks really beautiful as well. I really like the eastern coast of Canada. It's not the same energy at all. It's more like centered around fishing and the fact that the sea is really close by quite often. But it really has a beauty that you don't really find elsewhere. You see a bit of it in like Europe, in the fishing towns as well. Yeah, Freya, that's good. The older Quebec City is really, really pretty. I hope you will enjoy the lower city. It's my favorite. Like, it's so full of tourists that it's draining, but everything is pretty. Oh, wow. SG Liner, that sounds awesome. Also, I'm absolutely 100% envious of all the hikes around Edinburgh. See, that's the thing. I don't know. It's just weird. Like, it's sort of realizing that there are things that, and I don't drive, so I'm possibly not helping myself, but there are things that are really not accessible here, and I'm like, I was watching a video not long ago, and the person was like, oh, I start my day by going on a hike, and I was like, I wish. I would love that. I would absolutely do that if I could. I'm from Lisbon, Portugal originally, and I miss the sea. Oh, where are you at right now, Freya? So that you don't get the sea. Hey, Alex. Toronto is also such a rushed city. All the old buildings get knocked down, and the historical places are tourist traps. As a country girl, getting used to living in the city is still really hard. Yeah, it's the same kind of feel for Montreal. Like, visiting for a couple of days is fine. Like, when I visit Toronto for a couple of days, I quite enjoy it. But living there is an entirely different story. It gets old really, really fast. Having to struggle for just moving around, getting groceries, and like rent is super expensive, and the weather when it gets cold, and you have like neighbors that are in the same building than you, and it's really, really intense. It's a lot of demands on energy all at once. Like, if you guys follow Catnip on YouTube, I think that's her name, she makes a lot of vlogs, and oh, you're in Kingston, Ontario, Freya. In Canada. Yeah, that's quite different from Portugal. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Catnip, she has a studio space. I think she's in England. But yeah, and I saw that with, oh, I'm blanking out on her name, but the illustrator on YouTube, her first name is Holly. But yeah, they show like their studio space, or like, and even if it's like a suburban area, sometimes it's still like old buildings and all of that. And I think that's really refreshing to go outside and see that, rather than going outside and seeing another boring new building. I don't know, possibly because I'm not used to it, but I'm always like, they show you see the view from the window, and I'm like, I could do with that view. I am looking for watercolor brushes for Christmas. Do you recommend some? Oh, it really depends on what you like to paint, how you like to paint, and what's your favorite type of filament or hair for the brushes. My parents were in Edinburgh recently, and they climbed Archer's Seat, and my dad fell over and slid down. Oh no! He slid down on his butt! Oh no! Well, I hope he didn't hurt himself. I bet he loves you telling this story. Oh. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that, like... that sounds so amazing, Otto. Otto says, I came across a Bronze Age settlement ruin on a hike the other week. Like, can you imagine? Like, the only thing I come around when I walk around is trash. Which is super duper depressing. Oh, your dad was fine. Mom sent me the pic of his ruined trouser. Oh, that's hilarious. Lee says, rent in Toronto is insane, so I'm glad I don't live there anymore. But in terms of lifestyle, I love and miss the big city. Alex says, oh man, living costs, apartment situation are the hardest thing to deal with in Toronto. In Montreal too, honestly. If you can find a good landlord, it's worth the extra effort to stay with them. Because that's that much less problems. I remember when I first moved to Montreal, it was quite an experience, like with the neighbor, and you're trying to adjust and go to school at the same time and just figure out how to work, to pay everything, to get food. I'm not fully inspired by buildings either. I'm definitely drawn to nature. Yeah, I agree. That's the thing with the hikes. Like, you can walk around in nature. When I visited my friend who lived in Switzerland, she was residing in sort of a condo complex, apartment complex. And like, if you crossed the street from her place, like literally cross the street, there was the forest. And I was like, if I lived at your place, I don't think I could ever move. I mean, just the appeal, like that sounds like it's so much more interesting and enjoyable to go outside for a walk if you have a forest in front of your place. Even if it's the same forest, there's always going to be something new. Like, everything grows, everything changes, the critters that move around. Like, it is so much more inspiring than taking a walk around Montreal's suburb, whatever. Like, oh, more building. The only appeal of Montreal suburb is that sometimes I can spot cats. That's the only thing. But for everything else, this is so... You walk on a sidewalk. How boring is that? Oh my gosh, I'm so done with it. It was a Bronze Age settlement, which then had cannons' mounds built on them for the wars. Whoa. That's pretty cool. Tea break. Oh, Patricia, that sounds really lovely. Oh, I'm glad you found a good place. And it was just a hill without signs of anything. Do I say critters? Do I say it in a weird way? Yikes. Oh, I miss ya. Oh no. The neighborhood cats are organizing an uprising. Oh, I'm up for it. Seriously, like... Why would I be jealous? Where? I think I'm jealous of the thing. I get so confused. Alex says, forest living is amazing. I used to live in the forest before moving to Toronto, and the air was so fresh. We could find fresh mushrooms, I can't talk today, and wild ginger in the fall, and I painted so much back then. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I see sometimes, you see artists online from everywhere. And, like, sometimes I see some of them, they look like they live in a cabin in the woods somewhere, and I'm like, where is that, first? And second, can I get one too? Can I have a cabin? Hold on. I gotta get my phone. Because Heather has apparently... did I miss it? Is it gone already? I think Heather mentioned that she posted a picture of the cats. Yeah, I kind of want that too. I really want to live somewhere where I'm right there by forests and hikes, like on my back door. sounds really nice, especially in Edinburgh, since you don't get too much like snow. Hiking in the snow is a really good challenge, but aside from that, I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm trying to... My brain's not working enough. Okay, let's ink this. Grew up across the street from a huge park forest with a 90 feet waterfall. Oh wow. Anxiously awaiting the painting. Which painting? Hey, Ellen, hi. Give me a pair of snowshoes and a clear day in the woods and I'm happy. Oh man. A clear day in the woods and nobody else. That's the thing that possibly is the most difficult to manage as an extremely introvert person, is that whenever I try to go somewhere to recharge, there's always so many people that you can't really recharge as much. Like it doesn't work. You never get a break from people. Like even if I go to the parks nearby, Montreal has quite a few parks, but they're always so packed, except when it's raining. It's the only time I've seen the parks quite empty. But I find it super difficult because I go there to sort of calm down and just like chill, and I can't because there's people. And it's super stressful. Like, should I say hi? Should I wave? Should I look at them? Should I not look at them? Are they looking at me? Yeah. That's also a bonus. It's a good bonus. It's a really important part of I kind of like walking in the cemeteries for that reason. They're usually quiet. Yeah, that's a fair point. There was a cemetery in Quebec near where I lived that was quite a big cemetery. Like they had really big word. Anyway, they had a lot of space. And there was a more like ancient part of the cemetery that had all the older stones and all of that, like things going back to very early 20th century or late 19th century. And it was all overgrown. Everything was like mossy and it was so quiet and nice. Like it's weird that it's a cemetery, but that was a really interesting place to walk around and oh no. Did you give catnip to your cats, Heather? The only part of the UK I've seen is Heathrow. Ugh. Airports, yay! There's one thing I really enjoyed when I went to France. I went to Saint-Malo a few years back, and it was the older part of Saint-Malo, which is, I think they call it Intramuros, because it's within the walled part of the city. And there are areas that are touristy, like 2000%, but I could easily get up early and head out the hotel and walk around like the areas that were not touristy, and it was so enjoyable. It's a beautiful city, and you can walk there in the morning. The air is cold and crisp, and everything is lovely. And like the bakery was open, so I just walked in and bought some bread to munch on for breakfast. And like you see this, it really has kept a bit of this feeling of this is also a place where people live. This is not just something that has become for tourists now, where everything is overpriced and anyone else that is not a tourist can't really function here. Like, there was a laundromat, there were grocery stores, all this kind of stuff that I was like, oh. And it was also really, really pretty. It's a lot like old Quebec, because it's old France. I thought you had sent me pictures of the cats, Heather. No, it's definitely not easy talking French in France, because like I say, here in Quebec we speak lumberjack French. We don't speak actual France French. I know it's Canadian French, but I call it lumberjack French because it's more everything is a bit more mumbled, and the intonations are really not the same. The language is not the same. Like, something that you often notice in France French is that they will use English words but with the French accent. Like shopping, I don't know what else. It's just silly. But like, we don't necessarily do that here. The thing is, with the story of Quebec, the way it came to be is that there were, like, at the same time, quite some time ago, there were both French and English people. So the influence we got from the English words comes from another moment in time, possibly, and we assimilated this English in the French. And not as much just borrow a word as is. Noted, laundromats are what... I don't look for it, but I was so surprised to see it. It was so surprising, because I was walking in Saint-Malo and I was like, I have this feeling that this is a really touristy place. And I get to a point in the city, it's quite small, like you can walk around the whole thing in 20 minutes or so. Like, it's really not a big place. And I was just like walking around being like, this is so pretty. And once I turned around and I was like, what is this place that's open up like super late or super early? And I look and I'm like, hey, it's a laundromat. What? Not what I expected. Okay, cool. So they consider that people that come here have to wash their clothes too. So they're not here just for a few days and then they move on. Like, I don't know. It kind of struck to me as something really interesting. Lumberjack French. I don't know if we did speak in English back then, but it was kind of a big mess. So whenever you read books that are written from either set in that era or written from that era, it's really funny because you see words that you read and you're like, I don't know what this word is, and then you figure it out. You're like, oh, it's this English word, but said in Lumberjack French. Like, never mind. Well, at some point in Quebec, it was an expression to say never mind. And it meant never mind, but it was like a Lumberjack French way of saying never mind, which is just weird. Did you see the article about the French woman who went to uni in Quebec but did the summary in English and the rest of her dissertation in French, and she was rejected? No, I haven't heard about that. That's weird. Yeah, when I went to France, I had a hard time getting my friends to understand me over there. And what was the most frustrating was not the fact that they couldn't understand me. Like, I know that our French is like butchered and chopped, but it's the fact that I would say something and they would go like, like they understood, but they did not, and they would have this blank stare on their face, and I was like, dude, if you didn't understand what I said, just tell me. I'll try to repeat more clearly what I just said and try to make it more understandable. Like, I'm sorry our French is so weird here in Canada, but that's what it is. This week's news. I don't really follow the news, to be honest. Oh yeah, in Ontario we learn Parisian French. And at my school we would take trips to Quebec to practice our French, but it's so different I couldn't understand it. Yeah, that's basically what happens if a French Canadian goes in France. To France. Oh, Gus is still a really young cat. Everything's a game. Bates. I know a Franco-Ontarian whose last name is Bates, except it's spelled Bates. Well, that's how I would say it. Well, thank you, Dan. I think you can say that because you possibly don't really have a frame of reference, but I don't. What I like of Canadian French is that it's fairly unique. And the only thing I've seen that comes a bit close to it is Scottish. And I think that's really interesting. And I like Canadian French, but I'm fully aware that it has a lot of shortcomings. And we mumble a lot. Mumble. Think of the difference in 500 years of separation between France and Quebec, and then think of the difference of 500 years between the English of Oxford and Alabama. It makes sense. Yeah, that's very similar. And you can even have, if you consider the French of Louisiana, and even the French in, is it Acadia? It's Acadie in French. It's a part of Canada, and they have a really weird dialect that is part English and part French, I think, and it's called Chiac. Not that Scottish accent sounds like Canadian French, it's in the way that, like, what characteristics I like of Canadian French, there are things that I find in Scottish too, like the very unique way of swearing. The fact that it's a really small part of I hope I'm not gonna offend anyone by saying that. I'm not super knowledgeable about that, but a small part of the United Kingdoms, like like Quebec is a tiny part of Canada, and they have their own accent compared to the rest of England, their own swear words, their own expressions, and they are more. It's like the lumberjack English, if I can. Hey, have fun, Alex. Thank you for being here. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Like, our grammar in lumberjack French is really weird. Like Lee says, like je peux-tu is a way of saying could I, but it's if you it's a bit like saying I could I, which doesn't make any sense like that, but in lumberjack French it's the way we do it. Cause us to go to the vet again. Oh no! Whoa! Yikes! How that does happen, Heather? I have no experience with cats and friends. Was it something that was not noticeable, or was it something that took time to develop? Like, and you gotta keep it like friendly, because there are a few people in chat that are not super into that kind of critters. Oh yeah, du bois. But yeah, it's really interesting. The swear words in lumberjack French are really, really... I haven't seen anything quite like it, to be honest. Like almost every swear word that is local to here is derived from something related to religion. Whether it's an object that you would find in a church, or something related to religion. And since that wasn't very well received, as you can figure out, there are also like adaptations of those swear words to make them more palatable to everyone. Like, example, instead of, I'm gonna translate, and it's not gonna be as obvious, but instead of saying like bastard, which wasn't really nice, people would say boat. Because in French, bastard is bâtard, and boat is bateau. So instead of saying bâtard, you would say bateau. Which is just boat. It's not a swear word, but it's said with the same intent as a swear word, and we have so many weird ones like that. My grandpa used to say soda, which is soda. Somebody looked around a church. These are all swear words now. Yep. But it's honestly all that, which is really, really funny. It's a bit like people would say fudge instead of the F word. That kind of like trying to find ways to swear that are okay. I don't think it's a Canadian thing. Like I said, people use fudge instead of something else, and I'm trying to think if English has a really wide swear word vocabulary, because Canadian French has a lot of swear words. And the funny thing is with Canadian swear words, French Canadian swear words, is that you can use them as nouns, as adjectives, as verbs, as expletives, and you can basically connect them all together. So if you were really in the proper mindset, you could possibly swear for like 5 minutes straight and just never stop. Apparently Chinese has weird puzzle swearing based on places and tonal. Yeah, that's the same kind of idea. Shoot and darn it, yeah. I think you're right. Ellen says, back in the day when religion was taken more seriously, making the curse words related to religion made them that much worse, I think. I'm so mad I'm gonna bring God into it. I think that was the idea. But then people wanted to swear anyway and not not offend God, I guess. That is amazing. What, to be able to swear non-stop for 5 minutes? But yeah, that's a really that's not something I've seen a lot. Like it's really hard to give examples because these words are so contextual, but yeah, like a word can be used as an expletive and can be used as a way of saying you're gonna you're doing something. And yeah, we have weird swear words indeed, but I like it. And whenever I see the video about this Scottish guy stuck on a roof, it's automatically makes me think about lumberjack French, because I could see that conversation happen in lumberjack French and it would have the same effect. It's glorious. Yeah, like that. Like chalice. Well, we sort of tweaked it and changed a bit changed the word in the way we write it, and it's a swear word, and it can also be a verb. Maybe we should start a trend of saying both as a swear word, just to be interesting. Two boys. Ugh. Oh my gosh, what is that? Sit with. I love the video of the Scottish guy trying to get the voice activation on his iPhone to work. Oh, I need to check that out. That has to be hilarious. It's pronounced Aberystwyth. Oh yeah, sure. Fine. Like I'm making a lot of noise about that, but then again, in French we have a lot of sounds that are really difficult to figure out for someone who hasn't been like hasn't been taught them or hasn't grown into them. Like all the oh hey, Oloria, sorry, I wanted to say hi and then I got distracted by the chat, which is something that happens a lot. So I will just let this dry a bit. Hopefully it's gonna dry fast. I hope I didn't do something dumb by using this pen on this paper. And then I'm gonna paint it. Y'all spelled chalice weird. Oh yeah, we spell it even worse in lumberjack French. It's a swear word. Scottish guy trying to use smart speaker. The guy stuck on the roof is a classic though. Speaking of Scottish guy, I've been watching a lot of Gordon Ramsay stuff. And the person who is responsible for editing and uploading and putting the video content on the channel for, I think it's for Kitchen Nightmares, is so funny because they do the extra work of including jokes at the end of the videos, and like running jokes and do some funny editing stuff with it, and it cracks me up a lot. I'm gonna go get a bowl of water for painting, so I will be right back. Plop. This is called, oh, it is hilarious. Yes, watch this cottage guy on the roof. I will wait a couple of minutes because it's really worth it. Yeah, it will have salty language, of course, because the guy is stuck on the roof, so. And a bit like, you know, how Gordon Ramsay, part of it is because he's on TV too, but like he will use the F word a lot, but he will also use words like calling someone a donut or a donkey, and that always cracks me up. Because we kind of do the same thing in Lumberjack French, like using words that are not meant to be an insult or anything, but you use them in context as an insult, and it sounds like an insult, but like no one can really get offended for being called the donut. Like you're like I was gonna die. I love it. I need to watch it again after. Poor guy stuck on the roof with the subtitles. Hey, speaking of, Gordon Ramsay has really good French. I was impressed. I was like, huh. So, which paints today? It doesn't really... Well, I don't know. I don't know much of Ramsay as himself because, I mean, all we see is him on TV, so it's hard to say. But whenever I've seen him interact with people, I think it's just that he is really open and forward with his feelings. So if he's mad, he's gonna sound mad. I don't have any Rembrandt set. But whenever you watch him on, especially the UK version of Kitchen Nightmare, he really gives people a chance. And he will try to really help them figure things out. And when he's disappointed that didn't do anything, that's when he gets sort of mad at them. But I've never really, like, it's really quite different. What we see in America, like Hell's Kitchen and Kitchen Nightmares and Hotel Hell in America is really not the same. It's really like edited and hyped up to be really, really good TV, you know. But everything I've seen him do in England was really more like relatable. But that's just my opinion, of course. Use your most favorite palette. He said he studied in France for 3 years, but that was quite some time ago. That was when he started cooking, and he still speaks good French. So I was like, huh. Push because they are special. Huh? Daniel Smith. Oh, my own paints. Aw, Heather. Ramsay is a typical chef with the volume turned up. He is so passionate about cooking. But he controls those feelings for celebs, so he's just being a bleep. Well, I don't necessarily agree, but yeah, sure. Kevin MacLeod, the grand design guy, just happens to be able to speak perfect Italian, huh? I could do White Nights if I remembered where I put them. I want something that has a cobalt teal color in it, so Renaissance sadly doesn't have a cobalt teal right now. Would that fit if I put this here? Take this off. If he was that snarky in the UK with people, he would get a smack. They would kick his ass, I think. Hey, Tsukaboo, hi. Holbein could work. I was trying to see if I have enough room for White Nights on my table, but I'm not so sure I do. Holbein, okay, let's... I have this White Night palette, but it doesn't have a cobalt teal in it. I really need to shuffle these colors around a bit. Because I don't think there's a use for 2 yellows that are this close. I don't use yellow a lot. So there's that. Old Holland. Okay, I'll go digging. Let's see what I have here. Do I have a cobalt teal in here? Hey, I do. That's really weird. Check out the way this Old Holland paint dried up in the palette. Like, flaked. I don't have any Block X. I have 1 pan of Block X paint. They're so expensive. I mean, I would love to try them. But for me to be able to try them, they would have to send some to me because yikes. Hey, Jumin, hi. I'm like really interested in the really huge Block X pans that have the rest for the brush. Words. Words. Nope. that could work. Alright, so I found Otto's paints. It doesn't have cobalt teal, but there's a zirconium cerulean in here that would work fine. I don't have any Daler-Rowney Pro paints except for the really tiny set, this one, that I finally put some freaking feet on it, because of the ring it was like all wobbly, and then someone said, hey, I put stuff under it, and I was like, huh. Wait a second, how didn't I think of that? But those paints are gorgeous. Gorgeous. I really like handmade paints. I don't use them enough, in my opinion. Right, I'm not moving anymore. I want the huge pan for just for huge pan purpose. Yeah, same with the stupid Winsor Newton huge pans. Like, I wish they would sell just a ceramic pan with no paint in it. Alright, let's get to it. Brushes. I kind of want to try my treacle brushes today. Assuming I have... I'm gonna need something thirstier though. Thirsty. That's a good size. And possibly this one too, and a Casaneo brush. Making paints is a lot of work, and it's like a huge investment in time, because you gotta figure out so many things all at the same time, like time for mulling, time for drying, time for filling pans, time for wrapping stuff, time for taking pictures, time for putting them on the website and selling them, and then you have to package everything. It's insane the work that goes into it. They found the nip stash. Oh, you hate mulling potter's pink. I love it too. I think it's one of those easy ones to mill. It's too bad we all live so far apart. We could have like a huge paint maker conference and I don't know, atelier. What's the word for workshop? We could all be like, hey, how do you mold this paint? Oh, do you like this pigment? Hey, I really don't like molding this pigment. Oh, I like it, then give it to me, and trade stuff up. And now, Winsor & Newton has stopped making the big pans. I was able to grab two before they became too difficult to find. But, yeah. So I'm gonna start with a light wash of this color near the ground. This has such a beautiful granulation. Can't really look at chat for now, so hopefully I will not be missing out on many messages, but it's a bit tricky to look at chat right now. I'm trying to catch up on the chat. It's not frozen. Just waiting for this to dry a bit. Oh, well, if you want a couple of big pans, Lee, you could get this ceramic palette from Jackson's. It has 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 5 round levels like this with the rim at the bottom, and it has one that is sort of a cover and is completely flat. But that's basically 6 pans, and you could like put a lot of paint into them. And You might find something to use for large pans in Asian dinnerware. The bowl, sometimes they have small ceramic dish for sauces. I would love to be hired as a studio assistant. I kind of look. I would. I think I would love a job like filling out orders and doing that kind of stuff if that was my only focus. Yeah, those stackable palettes are really handy. Handy. That granulation is everything. Now I was talking for Lee, who was mentioning getting big pans for having their main colors always at the ready in the studio. If you want XXL, you need like straight up plates. That sounds great, Ellen. I agree, I would love that. I'm all for work that either it's one of these two things. Either you enjoy doing it a lot, so working in the evening, working it's like you don't really mind it. In fact, you look forward to it. That's one of the ways that I think work can be enjoyable, though it's really, really hard. And the other way is any kind of work that you do and you don't bring home with you after you're done. That's a thing that I had a lot of problems with when I worked for contracts, because sometimes you wouldn't necessarily finish in time and you would have to find a way to either come in the weekend or stay late to finish. And I understand that it's necessary sometimes, but there's really nothing as fun as, you do your work for the day and you get it done. No noodling around, just getting the work done, and then you go home and you don't think about work anymore until the next day. You're talking about the zirconium cerulean, Otto? It's beautiful. It's probably like the sort of the only one I can shift my love for manganese blue to, because I really like manganese blue, but it's only Dan has it as far as I know. And this one is also quite lovely. Oh, you want rectangular pans though? Yeah, that's a bit different. Hey, Otto, is Pigment Tokyo like unreasonably expensive, or is it just like really fancy and it has many expensive pigments? It is beautiful though. I think it's unreasonably expensive compared to somewhere like Kremer. Okay. I was really curious. I kind of get that feeling when I visit the Kama Pigments shop here in Montreal. It's not like the same kind of huge wall of pigments that is super impressive, but they still have a wall with all their pigments. And I always feel a kind of bliss by looking at it. It's like all these beautiful jars of color. And I get to look at each one of them and like either be like, oh wow, awesome, it's that pigment, or think of it in a way that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get this one and I'm gonna make this paint, and it's gonna be pretty cool. So yeah, it's not as impressive as Pigment Tokyo. It really doesn't have the same layout and the same like shock value as their wall of pigment, but still really nice. Especially when you see like the huge bags that are like 1 kilogram of pigment and you're like, what? 1 kilogram of pigment? That is so much color. Oh yeah, I would love to go to a cremor shop too. Yeah, Lee, if you come by Montreal, you definitely have to check out Kama. They are not the most like in terms of price ranges, like if you look at their price for things like Daniel Smith or Holbein acrylic gouache, might not be the cheapest, but they have really nice, like it feels like a very well curated selection of items in there, and their focus seems to be a lot on oil painting and caustic painting. So yeah, you gotta accept them for what they are. But it's a really nice shop. A lot of wood. It looks a bit, old and worn, but in a good way. Not worn like used and scratchy, but like the varnish has a patina. It's a really nice shop. I would go more often, but it's not exactly close to me. It's close-ish. Oh, at the Pigment Tokyo, transparent red oxide is $5 US for 15 grams. What? PR 101 is like $5 Canadian for 4 ounces volume. Yeah, an unit of 15 grams, it's unless it's like Vivianite or, those really expensive pigments. Kama has a 7-gram dosage. It's like tiny, but it's often the really fancy stuff like the neon pigments, or for a while they had like genuine vermilion and genuine lead white. Anyway. And those were like tiny jars for an expensive price, but it's a super duper expensive pigment, so I can see no one would buy like 4 ounces volume of vermilion at $230 or something. Unreasonably expensive, yep. Really nice way to put it. Fireworks should be banned. Ugh. Fireworks should be limited to stuff like to make them feel special. I think they should be limited to amusement parks. Is that the word for it? The places where they have roller coasters and that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, Jazz is getting super old. She seems to be doing quite good though. Especially since you've fixed out her diet, and she really seems better. But yeah, that's she's losing a lot of hair and she's not so steady on her feet anymore. Aww. How old is she? She's almost 2 years, right? Yeah, poor Ginger Bomb. Oh, she's had good days and bad days. She was having a bad day yesterday and I was so sad. Oh, she's already 2 years. I can't. I mean, I remember when you first mentioned her. I think you just wrote me, you said, hey, I have a hamster now. And I was like, what? I said, yeah, we went to the pet shops and we looked at them and I brought one home. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. She's the most spoiled little hammy in the world. It's kind of weird to think about it because the first few things I remember when, I think, unless I'm mistaken, but the first few memories I have of like when I first met Otto and we started talking and became friend is like very soon after we sort of became friend, that's when you felt really ill and it was all like the allergies flaring up. And it's kind of weird to think that it's already been like 2 years of that. I'm like, whoa, we've gone a long way. It was not a planned hamster ownership. It's kind of what happens with cats too. Like more often than not, the cat comes to you rather than the other way around. She adores scrambled eggs. Aww. Yeah, it's just weird to think about that in a way because it's like, oh, doesn't feel like that much time has passed, but yeah, it's kind of awesome. And it's kind of a bit the same with everyone on this channel. Like I remember that my very first subscriber was Ian. And like I met so many nice people and most of them are in the chat. And it's like so weird to realize that like time has passed and you don't really realize just how much has passed. And then you're like, oh wait. Wait. Lifetime of a hammy. Oh, hammies and cats should live forever, and other pets too. But I mean, I love this ultramarine violet pink. I never quite know what to name this pigment because some people call it ultramarine pink and Kramer has like 20 names for it, like light pink, dark pink, red pink, and you're like, how am I supposed to figure it out? I agree. Ellen says, my best online pal and I have been talking now for almost 15 years. Online friendships can be so important. And magpies. Yeah, how is Ziggy doing? Oh, that's awesome, Amisha. I'm really glad. I mean, definitely the best community around. I have an online friend that I've known for about 15 years too, and I finally met her in person like 2 years ago. And it was like pretty surreal because like we already know each other. We've just never been with each other in the same space. Oh, Ziggy's doing fabulous. That's awesome. Man, I need to check. I don't spend as much time on Instagram anymore, but I really need to remember to go check if you have new pictures of him and also pretty art. I really love magpies. He's in great condition. Oh, awesome. I think last time, was he like trying to impress, was it another bird or was it an inanimate object that he was trying to court and impress? I can't remember. Oh wow, Amisha, that's really awesome. 14 years. Wow. I also agree that online friendships are super important. I mean, they're friendships like any other friendship. The only difference is you can't really say, let's meet up for a cafe somewhere. But you can definitely say, let's meet up for a cafe. Like, you have a cafe on your side and I have a cafe on my side, and we either chat or you can even connect like with Skype to someone, so you can talk with someone, and it's just the same as talking with anyone, you know. Hey, Eliza. Hi. Oh, it was a magpie. But she was not a big fan. Oh no! Poor Ziggy! He has 4 surgeries and he... Oh no! He's blind, right? That I remember. It's always interesting to see how animals don't really fuss about that kind of stuff. Like, have to amputate a leg? Huh, I'm just gonna learn to figure it out with 3 legs instead of 4. Can't see? That's fine. Like, they don't really fuss about this stuff. They just figure out a way to work with it. I find that super inspiring. Online friendships are life-saving for housebound folks. That's so true. My therapist was really trying to get me to go out and see people, and I realized that I should probably do that, but at the same time I was like, yeah, but I'm not shut in, you know. I don't talk to no one ever. I have a really nice community that I can talk with. I have my online friends. Like, it's not me alone in my cave necessarily. And sometimes it's like, on the really bad days, it's much easier to manage because you can, like, if I need to go lay down for 10 minutes, I can do that. Like, if it's not the same as when you meet someone in person and you don't have the energy for it. What are you supposed to do? She has, oh, the magpie has broken Ziggy's art. Oh no. Oh no, poor Ziggy. Cave, a cat cave, cat lair. I would totally, like, my very own cat cafe, I would never head out. I would stay inside all the time. My therapist shouts, yeah, but every time I say it. But yeah, I was I was sort of talking with Otto, and Otto said something that made a lot of sense. And she said that the difficulty comes from the fact that to be a therapist, there's a really high chance that the person is an extrovert. And it might be super difficult for them to relate to introverts. So that could possibly be a difficulty in trying to to tell them that it's fine. I have this connection even if I don't go out. But yeah, like I know I should possibly go out more. And yeah, like Otto is also the only person I talk to every day aside Mr. E. Oh, I'm just flashing on it, but how's that for a large pan? That's a soap dish. Came in a set of 2. I got one here and another one here. My therapist is a therapist. Hey, Marmalade Underground. Hi. No one knows you're still wearing your PJ pants. Well, yeah, my official work pants are sweatpants. They're not like old gross sweatpants. They're like new-ish sweatpants. They don't have holes. They don't have like spots on them. Like they're clean. They're sweatpants. But I don't have a standard of like I can decide to be comfy. Yeah, ambivert is a thing. I'm absolutely an introvert. I will try to find the Amazon link to the dish soap later, and I will post it on the Discord if I can find it, so you can look it up. They were not very expensive for 2. I don't remember how much, but it was not very expensive when I got them, and they are ceramic, so. I was told today I should no longer seek out extroverts as friends because I use them as padding. Like as a buffer between you and other people. It's me, Mars, from the Discord server. Oh, hey! Welcome! Oh, my sweatpants covered in paint. Yeah. I possibly should need like a pair of dingy sweatpants for acrylic painting or whatever, but I try first not to make a mess, and then watercolor is still somewhat washable. Somewhat. So it's fine, but if I want to experiment with like acrylic or something, I either try to put on pajama pants or try to find like old leggings or things that have holes in them that are at the bottom of the drawer. Oh, that's a beautiful mix. Lovely. I think I'm doing it wrong. Wow, it's magic. Whatever. I think I've renamed my PJs to stay-at-home loungewear. The only raisin, you raisins. No, it's the beautiful vermilion and the Hansa yellow medium mixed together that makes this gorgeous orange. I don't think Otto could stand to make an orange. It's a red. The vermilion hue is it's a warm red, but it's a red. Oh wow, 6'6". Whoa. Nicest work. Yeah, the only advantage to wearing sweatpants instead of PJs is if I have to pop to the post office, I don't have to change. Like, I did the effort of putting clothes on in the morning, and I don't have to change and then change back. That's the only reason why I think like sweatpants are super handy for stay-at-home work. Orange is growing on you? Aw, that's awesome. I'm glad. All the colors are great. Even orange. Did you find a special hue of orange that was more to your liking? Like, do you prefer like the more reddish orange or the more yellowish orange? This is the thing with colors. Like, sometimes you like them as a color, but you wouldn't want like to have a shirt of that color or to own furniture of that color or anything. But like as a color, it's nice. What are your professional clothes, Joy? Is it like fancy pants and blouses, or is it like artist work clothes? There's a difference between sweatpants and PJ pants. Well, I don't mind popping in the post office in sweatpants, and I would not do it in my PJ pants because they have patterns and silly colors. I always feel kind of weird when I see people in PJ pants in like at the grocery store because I'm like, you're putting all the outside germs on your PJs. Oh, that's fine, Heather. By all means, go rest and try to clear out that headache. That sucks. Headaches are awful. Hug all the cats, and I hope you will feel better soon. Otto says, I was thinking of a blanket design and my brain went, how about navy with a splash of orange? Then I had a panic attack. Yeah, sweatpants are good for anything. But yeah, I just feel weird because I'm like, my PJ pants are the pants that I don't bring outside. They don't get exposed to the germs outside. Like, strictly indoors pants. Well, sweatpants, I will pop outside with them. It's fine. Yeah, I really hope you feel better soon, Heather. Professional is in going to a conference tutoring class, not pajamas. I was just wondering, like, what kind of professional clothes are we talking about? But yeah, that's possibly perhaps a good idea to keep a few of those. I'm quite fond of leggings too, but my fat ass doesn't fit into them anymore. So it's sweatpants for now, and if I can get my stuff together, hopefully leggings at some point. And maybe jeans, if I go back to a weight, that they become comfortable again. That's the thing, like the goal is to be comfortable. If you are comfy in jeans, wear jeans. If you are comfy in leggings, wear leggings. If you are comfy in a muumuu, wear a muumuu. Right, I kind of stopped painting. Come on. Come on! I can do this. Beautiful colors. Yeah, I don't mean that there aren't yoga pants to fit larger people. I just mean that I don't have any. So I don't want to buy any new ones. Oh no, been having a headache for weeks. Finally given it, call my neurologist. Oh no. Oh, I hope you feel better soon, Heather. That really sucks. Headache for weeks. Ugh. We are sending all of the positive energy to you. I really hope you can figure it out and feel better soon. That sucks. A muumuu is basically just a really flowy, ample robe that one would wear. Oh yeah, a pullover nightgown, but like really, really large. And I don't know if it's particularly for large people, but it doesn't have any waist. It's basically just a big swath of fabric with a tablecloth with armholes. That's a good way of putting it. It's meant to be super comfortable, and I think it's quite enjoyable in the heat because it's flowy. Like it's not tight. It's really, really ample. It's what you see sometimes the drag queens wear on the Drag Race when they are putting on their makeup. A couple of them have muumuus. Muumuu's a cow. Also. Ah, beautiful. What is this one? That's gotta be like ultramarine violet or something. Why is this color not in more sets is what I'm wondering. A muumuu is a Hessian sack. I think that's hold on, let me try if I can catch a glimpse of the name. Oh no, that's manganese violet. I put my thumb in the paint. It's a beautiful manganese violet. Wow. I had paint on my finger and now it's gone. So where is it? Where is it? Yeah, basically the cats are wearing long-sleeved muumuus. Exactly. that's one really long I can't find the word for it, but wow, Heather. Trying to figure out what the extra letters at the end are, and I'm like, it would yeah, do some more. Well, it's yours. That's your manganese violet. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. You know I'm gonna put a ginger cat in there. You know it. By the way, when I went to get the water, I checked out on the cats. And they're both sleeping together on the bed on the fresh blankets. Nothing brings kittens together than cold weather and fresh blankets. And then says, that reminds me of an old joke. I spilled spot remover on my dog and now he's gone. Ah, that's cute. Yay, more manganese violet. That's awesome. Do you still have some of these pigments, or did you went through all of them with the batches of paints you made before? Piddling in my granny panties. Whoa! I've had some issues with my manganese violet. Perhaps I need to review it and try it again, but yeah. Hey, Tulipan, hi! I have loads left. Cool! Yay! Muumuus came from the traditional Hawaiian dress cover-up. That's interesting. Really feels like something you want to wear, like, well, say you finish swimming in the sea. It really feels like something you could just put on, and it acts as both a towel and a cover-up. I think I'm gonna make it a white kitty and an orange kitty for dish. For this. A towel Mumu. Eliza, do you get some of your pigments from Kama, or do you get them from Kremer? I possibly asked before, but I don't remember. I know it's kind of different for Canadians into to get pigments, because the shipping with Kremer is a bit hardcore, and there's always a fair chance of having to pay customs fees. And those always hurt. It's always a really painful moment. And the mailman says, oh, but there's a custom fee on this one. And you're like, oh no, no, why? And then he's like, that's $35. And you're like, all right, let me get my credit card. I am using, hey Kelly, by the way, I am using Otto's handmade paints. Trying to see what is this one. It's the only one I haven't used so far. Oh, it's beautiful. Venetian red. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Venetian red. I get mine from a lot of places, never used Crema. Oh, really? Kama's #1, then Cornelison. Did you see that Kama has recently added Egyptian blue to their range? It's very pricey though, but the color looks really nice. I don't know what it's worth in watercolor, but the pigment is beautiful. Hold on, I saw a question. How many hours in a day are you painting it every day? I try to draw every day, but I don't paint every day. I should though. I really should. Because I have the time for it, and it's a great way to improve. I don't know what Heather and Dan are talking about, but I'm a bit unsettled. Hey, Lena, hi. Yes, those paints are Scottish paints. And they even feature Scottish heather honey, right? So that's truly a specialty of the place. Yeah, they added a few new pigments, but they are indeed so pricey. If live stream chat, anything goes, as long as it's not too vulgar or rough. Do they have a honeyish smell? Hold on. Yes, a bit, a tiny bit. It smells so good. Ah, oops, my hair got caught in it. Good. Cat lady Heather. Do you have your own honey? I'm Heather. Like, I would definitely try and make some of that Egyptian blue, but I am really worried that it's a difficult pigment, and I'm completely burnt on expensive pigments because they're difficult. Like, I've purchased way too many of those, and it's really bothersome and it's really annoying. Those are those handmade paints. I think I've managed to use all of them, at least a bit. Animal protein-free November and been fine, but holy crap. Well, honey is not animal protein. Buy it at Walmart, it's in the cabinet. I'm not big on, I think no one here is big on animal cruelty, honestly, but even when I was fully vegan, honey is the one thing that I really can't fathom cutting out because I'm vegan. It's not like the bees die because of it, and like if you get local honey that is unpasteurized, you really help the local beekeeper, and they take good care of their hives and they care about their bees. It's not, there's no protein in honey, it's basically just sugar. It's just carbs. Especially the expensive pigment that let you down too. Oh, that's I've really tried too many of those and I don't want to do that anymore. So whenever I see an expensive pigment, I'm like, nope. Nope. No thank you. I will keep on making like salmon and, you know, those colors that are friendly and like not painful to do. Honey is, in terms of nutrition, honey is entirely carbs because it's sugar. No protein, no fat in there. It's 100% carbs. Because all food is made of three components, three main components. It's either carbs, it's either protein, or it's either fat. Yes, the violet is so pretty. Both of them, like this is the violet pink, it's absolutely gorgeous, and the manganese violet. It is so, I don't know why, but I think, hold on, I think I have it somewhere around here. Let me check. But yeah, if you look at the one I have from Schminke, it's so much closer to the, like, it's not as deep and as bluish as yours, and I much prefer the color of yours. It's a lot prettier, and it's a lot closer to what I like in a good purple. I love how every single one of us paint makers are absolutely done with expensive pigments that are a pain in the butt to mold. Like, everybody's like, nope, I'm done. Like, Eliza is done, Dan is done, Otto is done. It's so annoying. That's pretty awesome that pollen is the bee's protein source. And I agree with what Heather says. Heather says we need more bees, so supporting beekeepers will help encourage them to have more hives, which in turn increases bee population. Win-win. Like, I think most people that are really opposed to honey from a vegan point of view is that they say that some bees get squished in the process of removing the honey from the hive. And then that, I don't know how, probably some people say that it's exploitation of the bees or whatnot. But there's something that you have to care for the bees too. Like, the beekeepers will make sure that the hives stay a good size. If the hive gets too big, he will set up a new box to like split it, and like they care for it really well. They don't want to kill the bees, and I think the bees are thankful for this help. Like, it's energy they can put towards like more bees and honey and pollinizing and all of that, instead of having to create everything. But that's just my 2 cents on it. The 2 yellows are Hansa Yellow Medium and Nickel Titanium Yellow. Nickel Titanium Yellow. Nickel? What? Yeah, I've tried the Vulcan's Quate green pigment. Don't get it. It's not worth it. I find Prussian blue really annoying to mold. What else? What else am I never looking forward to molding? Everything with Prussian blue in it. Genuine indigo is somewhat problematic, but this one is still kind of rewarding enough that I might do it. But mostly all the really bright colors, all the phthalos, all the quinacridones, everything that's really, really bright, those tend to be the problematic pigments. So everything that's more like a PR 101, PY50, PY42, PBR 7, those tend to be a bit easier. Ultramarine blue. I've had a hard time personally with Naphthol red and the Hansa yellow I have. Oh, I'm glad, Tsukaboo. It's just so weird to mold Prussian blue. It requires a bit of alcohol to mold, and it's one of those pigment, I don't remember what is it actually, but I think it's one that repel water. So the more you mold it, it gets really thick and goopy, and you have to add more water in it, and it sort of bloats the pigment. It's really weird. But it's such a beautiful color, so it's kind of problematic. Garnet was absolutely nasty. Oh, fudge. We were talking about fudge last week. Especially the small honeymaker. Most are in it for love of the bee's nature. Yeah. if you have a farmer's market, you can get your honey from there. It's quite interesting that here in Quebec, even at the grocery store, I can get like local honey is everywhere. There's even like organisms, organization. Well, I can't speak. Nasty. I love saying nasty. I said that on purpose. It's a mix of gnarly and nasty. Nasty. Fudge is our fourth favorite topic. Fudge and cake. What I was saying. Oh yeah. There's been a program here that takes that sort of is offered to homeless people at the homeless people center, where they take care, I can speak, of hives. And a couple of times in the year you see like they have their honey for sale, and it's everything to help them earn a living. And I think that's really cool. But yeah, honey is awesome. Maple syrup is awesome, but it's not a good preservative for paints. No, not cake, icing. Yeah, it was a very thorough discussion of icing. Oh my gosh, icing. You know what? I've kept thinking about icing for the whole week. Like when I was daydreaming, I would like wander off and be like, oh man, cake with icing. 1 cats, 2 paints, 3 paint making for anything sweet. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's a bit like gnarly, like gnarly, but I say nasty. Nasty. 5 newticles. Yep. But I would include the, what's it called? The tinkly tush, whatever, twinkly tush. Like all the weird stuff. 5 weird stuff. For immature people, which is us. I think that with age, our sweet tooth, for those of us who have one, sort of gets a bit more precise. Instead of liking everything that is sweet. Oh no, I thought you used an emoji. Though it was an emoji from maple syrup, so I think it was needed. Like maple syrup requires an emoji. It's that good. The twinkly tush, it's something Heather mentioned during last live stream. And it's on the same level as newticles. A tush and a Tush. Twinkle tush. Oh, nom nom nom, I want cake. I'm all over the place, seriously. But I realized that I really don't like hot beverages that are sweetened. But cold beverages that are sweetened is fine. Like a cold coffee with sugar in it, that's okay. But hot coffee or hot tea with sugar, I really don't like it. It makes no sense. On the topic of cake, I just tried fondant. What did you think of it? Kind of weird. It's a bit like eating sugary... you know the foam paper? They sell that in either dollar store or craft store. It's like the felt thing, but instead of felt, it's foam. That's what fondant reminds me of. Maple sausages. I will keep doodling just so it's not like boring too much. Though the live stream has been going on for a while, so perhaps I should end it soon. We're talking about twinkly tush. Perhaps we're done for today. Knowing my cats, I just don't think... No! What am I gonna do with that, Dan? Don't! I'm gonna wear it as like a bracelet, and people are gonna be like, oh, what's your bracelet? No, it's a twinkle tush. Fondant reminds me of clay. It's really weird. First of all, it's so sweet. because it's basically sugar. And you sort of have two types of fondant. You have the one that you can find inside chocolates that is not necessarily meant to be malleable. So it's basically just sugar. But you also have fondant that you can roll out and drape over stuff. That one is the weird one. Fondant and marzipan have a similar... That's true, though marzipan tends to be a bit more sticky. Fondant doesn't taste like Play-Doh. What? Marzipan does? I would have gone the other way around. Fondant tastes like nothing. It's basically... What is it? Is it like sugar and fat, but in a ratio that it becomes a paste that you can roll out, and it really looks like Play-Doh. The way it's used to like drape over cakes and have patterns printed in it, and I'm like... What are you supposed to use that for? Oh no, I think Otto has has been shocked by Twinkle Tush. Twinkle Tush? Tush? Tish? Oh my gosh. You need that one done, and you need a sheet of stickers that come with it that you can paste. Like the gem stickers. I don't think I've ever had a cake with fondant, because that's really not my type of stuff. It's usually vanilla cake too. Blech. Like vanilla cake is fine, but vanilla cake and vanilla icing, I'm always like, do you have something against strong flavors? Where's the chocolate? When did I last have fondant? 1980 something. It looks like it's straight out of the 80s, honestly. We stunned Dr. Otto into silence. Completely shocked about the... A rave apple. Apples. I think Heather has broken down. Okay, good. We didn't shock you into stupor by the talk of the realization that someone out there sells Twinkle Tush. See? Oh, you love vanilla cake and icing, pure sugar. It is pure sugar. I kind of like the vanilla cake and chocolate icing. Maybe I've changed it though, because I used to really be... I don't know why, but I used to really didn't go for the vanilla stuff, but as I've grown older, like I've sort of grown to appreciate it more. So maybe I need to try. Thing is, I would have to make it myself, because it's not often that store-bought cake is good, and if you get to a bakery, it's gonna be full of milk. Like I can do with the buttercream as long as there's no cream or milk in it, only butter. But sometimes there is milk in the cake too, so that's problematic. So I would have to do it myself. And then if I do a whole cake myself, I have to eat the whole cake too. It's problematic too. Yeah, the description, the sales pitch for Newticles or for Twinkle Tush is sort of baffling. Because you know the animal doesn't care one bit for it. Like I said, Our worst fates, but like cats. Okay, I say cats, but pets will pets will thrive without the leg, blind. You know, they don't mind, they adapt. So the fact that, well, definitely the twinkle tush is for humans. It's definitely not for the cat, because you know what, cats really don't care. The nudicles, I really doubt that pets care about that too. They're just like meh. They don't remember that stuff. They're not humans. They don't have like this regret thing happening. Oh, it's a gag. Okay, phew. I didn't see that when I looked at it. I was just like, someone needs to. That's a step too far. I am more worried about some behaviors that dogs will have when there are people around. Like cats will show their bum, but cats will always show their bum. Like when they're happy, their tail goes straight up. So what do you do then? I think gravity would put the gem out of the way, but there's still a high chance of yeah. I think that the twinkle tush would be more problematic with number 1 than number 2, because of the way cats will squat for that. But that might be a bit too much details for this. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna call it done then, unless you guys want to see some more, but I don't think this can sort of... No, I don't want to... You know what? I don't want to say anything, actually. I will mention the Discord right away. If you are interested in keeping up with the community and chatting during the week and talking about art stuff, paint stuff, cat stuff, pet stuff, all kinds of stuff, we have a Discord server that is set up. The link is in the description below, and it's pretty straightforward. You just create a free account and you can access the server and you can chat with us. And if you have any questions over there, you can ask anyone and we will help you as much as we can. So yeah, it's a really nice way to continue the interactions during the week. And it's pretty fun, and there's a lot of cute pet pictures and paint talk and nerdery over there. So really, you're all invited if you are not already there. So aside from that, I want to thank everyone for being here today. It's been really fun. Quick question, what's your favorite non-granulating paint brand? Granulation is not necessarily related to a brand, it's related to pigments. So you gotta look for pigments that are non-granulating, and in that sense, any professional brand will give you good paints of a pigment that is non-granulating. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here. If there are more questions, you can leave them in the comments. I will reply to the comments, or go to the Discord and ask on the Discord. And yeah, so I hope you all have a great weekend. Be careful with the weather, because who knows what's gonna happen. And I hope you all have a great time. So see y'all next weekend, and if not during the stream, during the week on the Discord. Bye guys!